I think you control all of it. I don't see what parts you can't. Right? I mean, if you understand, the probabilities and the chances of what's going on around you and who's around you and what they're most likely to do, you can control most of your destiny, right? It's, I kind of look at it as a card game, right? Like, you can win with any hand if you play it correctly, right? So it's kind of maybe you don't have the best hand, but you can probably figure out how to do something with it. That's kind of how I see it.
Taking the white flag, what do you
First, right?
First?
Yeah. First. All the time. You don't know when the yellow's going to come out. Right? Like, do you know you're going to finish the race on the green? No. I want to be first.
How much time do you spend learning the paint schemes of other Fords?
Yeah, I mean, most of them are pretty similar from last year, but you see them pretty quickly. We learn over the weekend, and we see each other a lot here.
10 years since you won the Daytona 500, what does this race mean to you? What does being a past champion of this race mean to you? You have that on your resume.
Yeah, it's definitely one you want to always. I mean, everyone wants to have Daytona 500, on their resume. It's been a long time, right? There's been a lot of close finishes since then to get in it. But overall, this race is one of the big pillars that's built our sport. That is the Daytona 500 Great American Race, and being a part of it's always special, right? It never goes away from me. It's always nice just to be a part of it. But being able to say we've won, it's been nice, but really want to do it again. No, okay.
So Josh Berry came over after practice to chat. What's it been like having him?
We obviously haven't had much time to really work together yet. I mean, we ran the class. That's all we got, right? And so you got to build a relationship. It takes time, right? There's a few things you got to figure out. Like, one, what does he mean when he says certain things, right? You kind of got to learn his scale, learn what, when he's tight, is there like an offset, like from what I like to what he likes? Like, I don't know what that is yet. He doesn't know what that is yet. So we have to learn each other, not only from a personal level, but also from a professional level on what he likes in his car, so we can actually use each other. But I don't see that, being able to actually, help each other much until, later in the year, once we kind of learn what those offsets are.
Joey, if at all, has racing changed at Daytona since you won 10 years? Particularly in the last 3,
Yeah.
I got time. So.
Yeah, it's changed in so many ways. So the cars, the drivers are completely different, right? I said it earlier. You can put these drivers and crew chiefs and teams in the 2015 Daytona 500, and that race would look completely different. With the same cars, it would look completely different. Just because it's just, it's just how people grow, right? I mean, it's just the evolution, right? You get smarter and doing things in different ways, and because of that, it changes. And then you have the difference of what the next gen car is compared to them. It's another year's change.
Is it easier or tougher to predict the Daytona 500?
Probably a little tougher now than it used to be to predict it.
In the years since you won, do you find the desire and motivation to the Daytona 500, is it the same level it was?
Yeah, it doesn't waver for me. It's the same as winning a championship. Like, it doesn't change. Like, I want to do it every year. What's the point of showing up? Like, what's the point of, like, leaving home and coming down here if you're not going to try with everything you got, right? Like, so between that and the fear of not being fully prepared, that keeps me pretty driven.
How have you seen Austin Cindric, bro? In the last few years?
Yeah, I think he's come a long ways, right? I mean, like at the beginning of his career, when he first raced trucks. Remember that? Boy, he's come a long ways from there. So, I think he should be proud of that. He's a ton of improvements. And I think as he's raced in the Cup Series and more, right, you start to understand, what it takes to win and where your strengths and weaknesses are, and he works on that. I mean, Austin works hard. That's why he's the most improved, in my opinion, because he works on it. Like you said, in the 500 car from 10 years ago? Yeah. It's definitely different. It does seem a little bit like that. Look at some of the things we did and what we thought made sense. or even the things we got away with then, right? Compared to what you get away with now, it's so different. It's just, everything's different. It feels different. Probably the part that looks the most different is the safety stuff. What we thought was safe then And now that we know it is better now, you look back then when we thought those cars were safe. And you look at it now and you go, geez, those cars were, at least from a seat standpoint, right? From where your head was and helmets and all those type of things. We thought we knew a lot then, but we did. We learned a lot when this next gen car was introduced and we were all getting concussed. We learned a lot about where, seat head surround foams, helmets, seating positions. We learned a lot about all those things. It's definitely changed a lot. It depends on the week and where he's at. He's a very inconsistent schedule. That guy's everywhere. Yeah.
The bonus point for the Xfinity fastest lap. Do you feel like the strategy can be altered on super speedways or road courses? Guys could take fresh time.
Possibly. I mean, it's a regular season point, so I mean, it means something. It's not a playoff point, which would be huge, right? And so, that would surprise me. Actually, I didn't. That's the first I heard of it. Is when they announced it. I was like, oh, that's news. So.